disability, Down syndrome. And not only this, even the general sensory processing disorder is seen even in the normal children. Everyone has some or the other issue with the handwriting. So as an occupational therapist, we try to evaluate their muscle strength, endurance, coordination, and motor control, which affects their handwriting. For handwriting, we also need a good memory, posture, pencil grasp, and letter formation skill as well. So the handwriting starts like it doesn't start in like just like that, like directly the child doesn't go for a dynamic tripod graph, whereas initially it will be like a pencil graph, then Palmar supinate graph, digital pronate graph, quarter foot graph, static tripod graph, and then only we achieve the proper the one which we are seeing, dynamic tripod graph. So if the child doesn't go to the development in this order, it may affect the child handwriting skill at the age of 6 years. The common difficulties which is seen among children in handwriting are like the common complaints or common concern raised by parents as well as teachers regarding handwriting are the child doesn't copy a letter or copy a letter and then the child is finding a discomfort in holding the pencil and doesn't want to complete the task, the whole page of paper while writing, or poor spacing or position of the letters or words, or difficulty concentrating, or any kind of behavior like they may tap while writing, they may tap on the notebooks, or they may lean on the chair or something like that, and excessive tiredness after a short period of writing. So they doesn't want to continue the whole process of the homework. Some of the other contributing factors for handwriting difficulties are the child may be having a visual problem, a child may be having a poor grip strength or endurance, poor eye-arm coordination, poor posture, proprioceptive issues, child is not holding pencil properly, motor planning difficulties, poor shoulder and wrist stability, delayed fine motor development. So these things also has to be considered. So the consequence for children with poor handwriting. Generally, the children who are having poor handwriting may be considered lazy by teachers as well as the peers, and they may not finish the assignment because of their hand becomes tired, may have difficulty taking notes, difficulty understanding school assignment because so much energy is focused on trying to produce legible handwriting. And because of this reason, they may miss out social activities, and they try to in order to, because of they are not able to produce legible handwriting, and due to all these reasons the child may also develop poor self-esteem. Okay, some of the most commonly seen features are with handwriting, the child may put too much of pressure while writing or very light pressure while. This is the main. As an therapist, we may encounter this kind of concern so often from the parents, saying that my child while writing he used to put too much of pressure, that the letter has seen at the back of the page, or sometimes he tear the paper. A light pressure, even if whatever pencil I give, the child is not giving enough pressure while writing. So these are the two most commonly faced concern from by the therapist. So before going on the intervention strategies about sensory integration, I would like to tell, like, there are 8 senses which is needed for our body in order to perform our daily living, as well as to improve our quality of life. So these 8 senses is needed not only for other skill, it's also needed for the handwriting. So among these 8 senses, proprioception, tactile, and vestibular plays a major role for handwriting skill, as well as vision. Vision in order to look, tactile in order to hold the pencil, prop, of course, to give the amount of pressure, whether I have to make it too much of pressure or less pressure. Vestibular is the one which makes a person to attend to the task in order to sit upright. So these kind of senses can be achieved, and this kind of skill can be achieved by these four senses. Let me talk about different senses. Touch. So generally, children from we are just concerned about the 4 years or 5 years old children handwriting issue, but we are not bothered whether we are giving enough amount of sensory experiences for the child in order to get a perfect handwriting. Now even recent years, like maybe in not in 80s 90s, but in recent years, the parent doesn't allow even the child to play with the sand, water, slime, shaving foam. Even they just bothered about the messiness, or it becomes dirty. So those kind of things were most often noticed. And even the child within a small apartment or as a small room, they were not even allowed to go outside and play on the sand. So these kind of tactile sensory experience were very limited among the children, uh, which affects their handwriting in their later part of life. Vision, of course, like they are just used to one kind of visual input. There is no different colors, there is no natural sunlight, and so there is no much of visual input has been, like either they don't go out during night time, so in order to get different light at the same time. So this kind of visual input again affects the child handwriting skill. Movement. Movement is the basic thing which is needed for all the human being. So movement is not only for handwriting, it needed for each and every task. Whatever we does, it can be achieved by if you receive a perfect sensory experience of movement. So movements can be achieved through hammock, swing, rocking chair, rocking horse, and any kind of movement like walking, running, climbing on the stair, jumping, climbing on the jungle gym. So these kind of tasks provides us more amount of vestibular input. Proprioceptive input. So I just want to tell you that instead of using the term proprioceptive, I may use the term prop. So just want to clear it out. So proprioceptive input we can achieve through joint movement sense and muscle movements, stretching, compression, vibration that we receive from the outside sources is like a part of proprioceptive input. That can be achieved for the children by making the child to climb on the stair, wall climbing, cycling. We don't even provide cycling nowadays for the child to play. So cycling, we just think that handed schooling means academic means we just have to focus clearly on pen and pencil, but we don't consider that these kind of physical activity only will help my child to do well in the school, do well in handwriting. So uh, that's why I just want to share these things. Okay. Another thing like heating different kind of food, different texture, different taste, and allowing the child to sit on the bean bag if he's really stressed out, or if he's watching the TV or something like that, or blowing balloon, swimming, hammering. And even in nowadays, like you can see in most of the school, we don't even encourage the regular assembly which is used to be done be lost like 10 years 20 years before. So these kind of regular assembly where we do the exercise warm-up exercises, that also helps the child to do well in school academics, like to attend to the task, or to not only for handwriting, it also helps the child to focus in the classroom. And we also can encourage doing the dry heart classes like this kind of therapy ball in order to make the child to focus to the task. And we also have a physical education in the school where we can encourage the child to have a different kind of play like jumping, skipping, um, football play, or swimming, or like soldier walk, kneel walk. Some kind of physical activity can be encouraged in the school in order to make the child to be more physically active, which helps the child to focus further in their school academic activities. So these are some of the examples which I gave so that we can encourage in the school. It can be included in the school part of to in order to improve their handwriting performance. sliding, climbing on the, as I said before, climbing on the gym, sliding, playing on the sand, playing with the water, blindfold activities like closing the eyes and finding out people. So this again encourage the child in order to increase his body awareness, where I am, where is right, where is left. So this kind of, by closing the eyes, the child has to feel the environment, the smell, the touch, the joint movement, those kind of thing has to be felt by the child, should be felt by the child in order to have a better handwriting. Handwriting is not just, handwriting is only, just not an involvement of hand alone. It involves the whole body awareness, body awareness, but that can be achieved by complete sensory experiences, which is given by the parents as well as teachers throughout their, like when they are during their growth development. Gardening, and even if the child is messy during eating, when the child is like 1.5 years or 1 year, it's okay, because when you allow the child to play with different texture, that only will make the child to feel, yeah, this is soft, this is hard, this is light, this is heavy. So these kind of feeling, this kind of awareness can be achieved only if you provide the child to play. Okay, otherwise if you're not, if he doesn't allow the child to play, the child will not have any awareness of the any awareness of the sensors, and no registration can be achieved. That registration only helps the child. I need to hold the pencil with this much of pressure, or this much of flow, this much of flow should be needed. If this is a paper, so I need to provide this much of pressure only. So these kind of understanding, the awareness can be achieved only if you allow the child to have a sensoring. So sensory integration is nothing but it's the experience of the child with different senses. As I said, there are 8 senses, mainly 7 senses. Eighth one is like interoception. um, the eighth one is interoception. You have seen like lowest to the down one. So interoception is nothing but the awareness of your own body. Like I have, my heart is, my heartbeat is high. I feel like I could breathe too heavily, and I have some kind of pain inside my body. So this kind of thing can be understood by interoception. Whereas the other 7 senses help us in some or the other way to have the better handwriting in the future. The external factors which has to be considered for handwriting is the height of the chair. So make sure the height of the chair in the classroom is according to their height. Okay, and if it is like the child is right-handed or left-handed, we also have to consider that as well, because most of the classroom, if the child is of right-handed, it's okay, like if there is not, no children is sitting on the right side, but the left-handed, make sure that there is not, no, like the child is sitting on the corner of the chair where there is no children at the left, honestly, on her or his left side. And the instruction which is given for the by the teachers, the children, it has to be very clear and concise. And if it is a child, the blackboard should not be too far away. So if, for example, if the child is having any kind of visual issues, make sure the blackboard is not too far away. So these are the main thing to be considered, and these are the main sensory input has to be given for the child in order to have a perfect handwriting. uh, Thank you. So I just want, because more than slide presentation, I just want to clear a doubt, because each and everyone have different kind of handwriting issues faced by the parents as well as faced by the therapists as well. So I just want to clear those kind of issues more than slide presentation. Anyone have doubt? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
continue. Any question we will ask in end of the
Yeah,
program.
I just finished with the slide. If you want
Okay,
to
okay,
share any, like, if you
okay.
have any doubts, because each one will have different kind of issues faced by the parents and children, so I just want to clear those kind of things more than slide presentation.
So, any participant have any question?
Hello.
Yes, yes, can answer.
Anybody is there? Anybody can, if there is there any doubt, like, okay, let me, okay, if there is no doubt from your side, I just want to clear some of the thing, like the most common issues faced by the teachers and the parents are, they say that my child is having giving too much of pressure or very less pressure due to hand. Hello, any doubt?
Participants have any doubts, please ask the question.
Okay, okay, let me clear from my side. Okay, so the children who, hello, is it okay? I'll talk.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I think
Okay.
there is no questions.
Okay, I'll
So,
okay, I'll continue from my side. Okay, just want to clear something. Like they say, generally, most of the parents they say that my child is giving too much of pressure or else pressure editing. So that generally, what they does is they just focus on the hand alone. Like my child is having giving too much of pressure. There is some pressure problem with the child handwriting means there might be problem with the finger only. So they just focus on finger alone. It is not like finger kind of. It is mainly because the child will be having problem in their step tone, like muscle strength on the trunk, shoulder, and then elbow. That leads to problem with the handwriting. So we just have to focus on the trunk and shoulder more than the importance we give for the finger. So if you are not focusing on shoulder and elbow or the trunk, you're not 100% you're not able to achieve a perfect handwriting if you just focus on fingers alone. Okay, and one more thing is most of the parents they say that my child is not holding the pencil in a perfect tripod, that my child is holding the pencil in using the palm. Like you have seen, no, some of the children they just hold the pencil using the palm in pronation or supination. That is because the child doesn't know how to hold an object. So that how to hold an object, it is because the child is not explored to different kind of tactile sensory input as well as different kind of proprioceptive input. This will affect the child, the way of holding the pencil or the spoon or any object which is given to the child. That object affordance can be achieved only if you provide a good amount of tactile as well as proprioceptive input. Without giving a good amount of proprioceptive and tactile input, is not able to, it cannot be achieved by the parent. And as well as the pressure, when you go for the pressure, a good amount of strength has to, good amount of compression, stretching, vibration has to be provided from the truncal side, shoulder side in order to get a perfect handwriting. And as an occupational therapist, we give a lot of like we have the swing, we have a slide, we used to push, pull, ball activities. We used to crash the child on the crash pad. We allow the child to go climb on the monkey bar, and we give a lot of. We have something called animal walk. I hope most of the parents they are aware of it, and as well as the teachers. Monkey bar. Monkey bar is one of the best activity in order to improve the handwriting skill. Like mainly in the animal walk, there's something called wheelbarrow walking, crab walking, and bear walking. These three exercises which help the child to improve perfect handwriting. It has to be given in a regular basis in a consistent way by the parent or the therapist in order to improve the handwriting. And most of the parents they also say that when my child is writing, he doesn't sit in a place, and then he keeps on running here and there. More than sitting, he keeps running. This is mainly because the child needs more of vestibular input, or sometimes it could be because the texture of the chair, that where the place the child is sitting. Some of the most of the schools they used to have a hard wooden chair or a plastic chair, that kind of texture cannot, mainly the children with autism, ADHD, Down syndrome, learning disability children, they are not able to accept the texture which is given, like which is from by, they get from the chair. Okay, so as a goal of, as a therapist, we can adjust, we suggest the parents to have a therapeutic ball or a cushion where the child is getting a texture of his knee, so the child can focus. Or it could be because the child will be seeking more of vestibular input. So in order to satisfy with this vestibular input, it just keeps moving here and there. So before going for a handwriting, we provide lot of vestibular input along with proprioception in order to make the child to focus and attend to the task. So vestibular input generally in all sensory integration unit, like if you go to any sensory integration setup by a therapist, we just encourage the child to do a movement like front and back. So this only the front and back vestibular input will not help the child in any way to improve his focus or attention while writing. So we need to encourage, there are there is mainly five kind of movements to be given by the therapist, like front and back, side to side, up and down, and the angular movement. In the angular movement, again we have a orbital, we have a axial movement, as well as we have a arc movement. So this kind of movement has to be given in equal ratio in order to satisfy his vestibular input, which helps the child to sit and focus on the task. and and most of the parents, when they either, like for example, the child, they say that my child is not holding the pencil properly, they may get a what hand to hold the pencil properly. They used to get some modified one, they get a heavy pencil or a jumbo pencil, or some with modification or adaptation in order to hold the pencil. Instead of doing these kind of modification and of, yeah, it's a like initial phase for emergency, for at that moment, in order to make the child to write, we can use it and no problem. But apart from this, if you provide the child with different tactile input, with different tactile input, I mean to say, allow the child with play with the sand, with the sand, uh, texture, different textures like rice, dal, and this kind of thing when it can be encouraged in the home as well, right? And there are nowadays we used to get we have like something called slime, play-doh, kinesthetic stand. So these kind of sensory experience can be given to the child in order to feel it, because they just see that my child is, when I give sand or kinesthetic sand or play-doh, it makes it more messy, so I don't want to give him. They just consider about, just bothered about the messiness, but they then have an idea. My child is not able to feel it. My child is not able to register it. That's why my child is making it more messy. So this is the messiness is mainly because the child just trying to understand the field. So in order to understand the field, he just plays with the sand in such a way to get some kind of registration out of the sand or slime or play-doh. So you need to understand why my child is doing this messiness. So if you understand that, then you will try to provide too much of different kind of tactile input that helps the child to achieve, to register the tactile, which helps the child to hold the pencil in a proper way without giving a complete tactile satisfaction. You cannot express the child to hold the pencil or a spoon in a perfect way. So tactile input sense experience plays a major role in holding any kind of object, not only the pencil or spoon, even buttoning. Most of the parents with autism, ADHD, and learning disability, this kind of parents, they generally say that my child is not able to button the shirt. My child is not able to hold the spoon in a perfect way while eating. He just hold the tip of the spoon, or he just hold in an awkward way. So these kind of issues is mainly because you have never given, you are not given enough amount of tactile experiences for the child. So if you provide enough amount of tactile experience, then only you can achieve a perfect handwriting. At least now you have an idea about handwriting, right? If any other doubt, do you have a doubt?
Yes, any participant have any doubt? Please ask with ma'am.
हेलो।
I think,
यस मैम।
yeah, tell me.
यस मैम, हमारा एक बच्चा है जो मैम वॉल पे नहीं लिख पाता है, क्या है लिखना जरूरी है?
क्या क्या लिख
वॉल
नहीं
पे,
पाता है?
वॉल, यस मैम,
वॉल पे
वॉल पे
नहीं, वॉल
बेसिकली।
पे नहीं लिख पाता या वॉल से लिखना जरूरी है वो आपके हिसाब से? द चाइल्ड टेबल के ऊपर लिखने से सही तरह से लिखता है, प्रेशर अच्छी तरह से लगाता है?
यस मैम, इतना लेकिन परफेक्टली नहीं लिख पाता है मैम उस पे भी।
I think if the child is not writing on the wall, his pressure while writing on the table will not be that the letter will not be that clear. It may be very light, I guess so, right?
ओके मैम। यस मैम।
दैट इज बिकॉज इस शोल्डर वॉल में लिखने के लिए क्या चाहिए, उसका शोल्डर का स्ट्रेंथ बहुत ज्यादा ज्यादा होना चाहिए और उसका ट्रंक का स्ट्रेंथ भी बहुत ज्यादा होना चाहिए। उसका ट्रंक का और शोल्डर का स्ट्रेंथ ज्यादा नहीं है तो वो लोग वॉल में, मोस्ट ऑफ चिल्ड्रन दे स्क्रिबल ऑन द वॉल, राइट? सो वो ट्रंक और शोल्डर स्टेबिलिटी सही तरह से ज्यादा नहीं रहेगा तो वॉल पे नहीं, वो तो एक चैलेंजिंग है, वॉल पे लिखना एक बहुत चैलेंजिंग है, टेबल पे लिखना चैलेंजिंग नहीं है। इसलिए ना हम लोग जब लाइक 80s 90s में देखेंगे तो वो टेबल पे थोड़ा स्लैंटिंग होगा। उस स्लैंटिंग टेबल क्यों रखा है मैंने, बच्चा का हैंड राइटिंग बहुत और थोड़ा बढ़ना है इसके, ऐसा सोच कर ही रखा था। बट आजकल लाइक nowadays we see the table was very flat, so flat, more than flat table, the slanting is good for the child to have a perfect handwriting. So slanting is more important, or wall scribbling on the wall is more important to improve the handwriting skill.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू। मैम एक क्वेश्चन और है कि जो बच्चा है मैम वो स्ट्रेट लाइन में नहीं लिख पाता है, कभी ऊपर कभी नीचे लिख पाता है मैम, लाइन से
वो
प्रॉपर लाइन में,
that is
स्ट्रेट लाइन में।
दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ वो सिर्फ वो क्या सिर्फ जॉइंट का और सब टैक्टाइल का ही प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उसका विजन का भी प्रॉब्लम है। विजन माने आंख का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट उसका परसेप्शन बोलते हैं, परसेप्शन, विजुअल परसेप्शन बोलते हैं, वो प्रॉब्लम कब सही उसको वेस्टिबुलर और प्रोप्रोसेप्शन, वेस्टिबुलर और विजुअल इनपुट दोनों एक साथ करना देना चाहिए। फॉर एग्जाम्पल in a therapy center we give I think most of them they know, like we make the child to sit on the flat swing, flat swing के ऊपर बैठा के उसको कुछ एक्टिविटी करा दे, जैसे कि रिंग स्टैंड और सम पेग बोर्ड एक्टिविटी, वैसा बैठकर कराते हैं। नहीं तो प्रोन लाइक प्रोनॉन प्रोनॉन टमी लाइक टमी में बैठा के करते हैं, नहीं तो बॉल के ऊपर प्रोन में, आई थिंक यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड इंग्लिश राइट, लाइक यू कैन मेडिकल टर्म।
यस, यस मैम, यस।
ओके ओके, थेरेपी बॉल के ऊपर प्रोन में बच्चे को डाल के वी कैन आस्क द चाइल्ड टू पिक अप सम काइंड ऑफ pegs and do the pegboard activities or a ring stand. So these kind of vestibular along with visual input, if you provide this kind of up and down or not writing within the line, these kind of issues can be corrected. Apart from that, if the child is up, like above 4 years, it's better to go on for a month animal walk. May I said no with during the presentation I said like wheelbarrow walking, bear walking and crab walk. These three exercises if they do in a regular basis, for because these three exercise which provides vestibular, prop, tactile, visual, all four sensory input can be given at the same time. So this helps the child to have a, like you said, the problem concern, no, so that concern can be corrected.
ओके मैम, बेसिकली हमें वेस्टिबुलर, विजन और टेक्टाइल सारे फंक्शन पे एक साथ काम करना है, सारे सेक्शंस
yeah,
पे।
it's not like separate, it has to be together, like
यस
पूरा एक, जैसे कि एक क्लास का नाम अच्छा रोशन होना चाहिए, क्लास का सभी बच्चा अच्छी तरह से परफॉर्म करना चाहिए ना। एक बच्चा सिर्फ एक लड़का अच्छा करेगा तो क्लास का नाम कुछ नहीं आएगा ना, ऐसा ही सब all the senses has to work together. One sentence is doing good, the other is not doing good, will not be effective.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू। मैम एक क्वेश्चन और है पेरेंट्स की साइड से मैम, उसमें क्या है कि पेज का जो लेआउट होता है उस पे बच्चा नहीं लिख पाता, कभी उससे स्टार्टिंग कभी बीच में से करता है, कभी नीचे से
That is
प्रॉपर्ली
again because
स्टार्ट।
Now that is because of laterality. That because the child is not having a bilateral. Because one of the major benefit of vestibular input is laterality. They will not. They just leave the other side of the paper, or they just top or down or right. And one more thing is children with autism, they just focus on the front side, they just leave the lateral side, the side which is on the right or left side. So these kind of problem can be corrected if you provide. I think the child is also having vestibular input, right? The
Yes,
child
ma'am.
should have some vestibular problem. If the child is having vestibular problem, that will only affect this problem. Like we, the performance says that child is having this problem. That's why we as a therapist, we don't ask the mother like what problem the child is having. We just ask the child to do some kind of task that the performance itself says the child is having the problem with vestibular, is having a problem in prop or vision or anything like auditory, anything. Okay, so I think this child is having more of vestibular issues. So tell the mother to take to an occupational therapist where they can provide adequate amount of vestibular input, which will help the child to do a bilateral activities or to reduce this laterality problem.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I just add a comment?
Okay.
It's very nice presentation. And we are, and of course, you are talking very well about the sensory, 8 sensory difficulties that a child could have, or the sensory integration. Yeah, I would just like to add, you were talking about weight bearing exercises like wheelbarrowing and things like
Yes,
that.
yes.
There's one activity that will very well help a child is using a balance board and balancing
Balance
on it. Yeah,
balancing
because
board will help the child, but we are talking now about handwriting, no? So I just
yes,
want to
yes,
focus
I
more on upper
understand.
extremity,
I
not the
am
whole body. Mm.
Yeah, you know why? A balance board will help a child to learn to coordinate his body, which will
Mm.
help a gross motor activities, help fine motor skills. And when you do
Yeah.
balance board activities, this will also help. I have been working in this field for the last 30 years, and I have
Mm-hmm.
seen the inputs,
Okay.
like that we do. And I just wanted to give this one extra thing.
Thank
Like
you. Thank
this helps a child to improve
you.
on the fine motor skills, and
Mm-hmm.
that will also help handwriting.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on because I know it's a lovely presentation and I just wanted to add on.
Thank you.
Basically, I'm a transdisciplinarian. I have done
Mm-hmm.
OT, PT, and SALT along with special
Okay.
education. And my trainer had given us exercises for all, for
Okay.
handwriting too. Okay. Thank you very
Okay. Thank you,
much.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think there is any question. Otherwise, I will finish the program.
Yes, sir.
Any participant?
I have a question.
Yeah, yeah. Please just ask.
Uh, what visual perceptual skills are needed for handwriting?
What visual perception activities? More than giving activities, we can give visual perception in senses can be improved by
Visual perceptual
giving
skills.
visual perceptual skill. More than giving an activity, we can improve by giving lot of vestibular activities along with the visual activities, like make the child to sit on the swing, ask the child to throw the ball within a barrel or some kind of hole, or we can ask the child to stack the ring while making the child to sit on the disc swing, or ask the child to do in the barrel on the bolster swing, we then ask the child to throw a ball or catch a ball. So these kind of activities, any kind of activities, if you give along with vestibular input, that will help the child more than making the child to sit on a chair with a pegboard or doing some kind of pegboard activities or in threading beads. So more than giving these kind of sitting tasks, give the child visual perceptual activities on the vestibular swing. That will help the child more.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Now we are going to finish the program here. Before the finishing, I am first of all thanks our respected resource person, Miss Komla Krishnan ma'am, for giving us a valuable time and sharing her valuable knowledge. Thank you so much, ma'am. from the
Thank
behalf of
you.
CRC and all the employee of the CRC. Thank you so much thank you so much, ma'am. And
Okay,
also
thank
like to thanks to all participants who is joining our program, and also would like to thanks our all colleagues of the CRC Lucknow. They are giving us cooperation for the all online programs. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Any participant who wants to certificate for this program, there is a link given in the chat box. They fill the Google link in giving in chat box. After that, they are getting the certificate through the mail. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving valuable time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.